So if just imagine China is watching the U.S. protest, what do you think they are thinking about?
I think the crisis in the USA now is an opportunity for China. This is an opportunity in the sense that China could criticize the bad or negative side of U.S. society. Yeah, since the Second World War, as we know, that the United States has been a world leader trying to cherish democracy, human rights, yeah, and many things, many standards. And one of the countries which became a target of U.S. attack is China. China has been criticized by the U.S. on the issue of Tibet, Xinjiang, Hong Kong, right, Taiwan. Yeah. But now the crisis in the U.S. shows that in fact inside the American society there is still a loophole or negative side. So China, this is an opportunity for China to criticize the U.S. to decrease the credibility of the U.S. as a world leader.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a kind of payback time for China.
Yes.
So the policy or the order by President Trump for governors to use military to control the situation, even support Chinese side. What's your take on his order of President Trump?
I think President Trump's actions, the purpose of his action is to gain a popularity among those we may call righties in the American society in order to increase the supporting base for the upcoming presidential election. I think this is the decision of Donald Trump is a kind of short-term political gain in order to win the second term as the U.S. president.
You know, Trump has been blaming everything that goes wrong in America on China, right? Even the coronavirus, for example. Maybe he will someday mention China in the context of having China to be responsible for what is partly responsible for what's going on. He's talking about foreign anarchists behind this protest as well.
Yeah, I think this is just a kind of political rhetoric, for any political leader which want to gain popularity, especially in the time of the upcoming presidential election. But I think in the long term, if Donald Trump win the second term, he will be more realistic in conducting relations with China.
We all know that the relations between U.S. and China have been very bumpy the past several months, especially after Trump blamed China for the coronavirus. How do you think what is going on in the state right now, the chaos, the riots, will have any further impact on the U.S.-China relationship? Trump will be too preoccupied with domestic issue that he will not have time to talk about China in a way that he used to.
No, in the time of domestic problem, political leader may wisely try to create national enemy. And one of the national enemy may be China. So maybe Trump or any political leaders may try to use China, creating or demonize China. And then using China as a tool to boost national morale or national support inside the U.S. society.
But on the other hand, do you think China would have felt relieved at this very juncture because of Hong Kong protest is being sidelined? Instead, the whole world is watching at U.S. protest, not Hong Kong at the moment.
Yes, now all news agencies not only focus on Hong Kong, now they move to see the crisis in the U.S. society. So this is a good chance, maybe a good chance for China to initiate any harsh policy or harsh measure toward the Hong Kong people.
You mean they may decide to use military force or stronger force to quell the protest?
Yes. I think we must understand that the issue of Hong Kong is very important for the Chinese Communist Party leaders, concerning their legitimacy. Because Hong Kong issue is part of the grand project of the national of the Communist Party called national rejuvenation.
That's right.
1949, the establishment of the PRC was the beginning of the national or long road of national rejuvenation. Before that, before Mao Zedong established the PRC, China was humiliated by the imperialist power. So in the mentality of every Chinese leader, they are like a driver driving on the long road of national rejuvenation. And this rejuvenation could not be complete without reclaiming sovereignty over the lost island, including Hong Kong, Taiwan. Although Hong Kong already became part of China, but China is still unsuccessful in gaining political loyalty of the Hong Kong people. So this is a very important issue related to the legitimacy of Xi Jinping.
So the so-called the national security law for Hong Kong is being seen in this context, right, as a show of China's determination to really claim possession of Hong Kong.
Yes, and we must understand that there are two legislative bodies, Hong Kong Legislative Council, and the other one is the National People's Congress, the central legislative body of the central government of China. Now, the national security law will be passed soon, not by Hong Kong's Legislative Council, but by the National People's Congress, because China realized that it would take a very long time if this law will be passed in the local legislative council. There might be debates,
protests,
and so China tried to solve the problem by using its National People's Congress. And China, the crucial question is why China want to use this law. In fact, China has tremendous power over Hong Kong. They can capture anybody, frankly speaking, in Hong Kong. But China want to pass this law in order to claim that it has already established rule of law in Hong Kong. Rule of law in Chinese version is different from Western standard. In Western standard, rule of law means that law, the purpose of that law is to protect basic rights and freedom. But in Chinese version, rule of law means rule by law, using law to regulate the society.
So that means that if in the future the students continue their protests, right, demanding democracy, human rights, this could be considered as violation of this national security law.
Yes. And China would not hesitate to use harsh forces against the protester or the dissident. Now, if you follow the news of Chinese news agency, those protesters are branded as separatists.
That's right.
Not protester, not ordinary.
And being supported by foreign elements.
Foreign element, third party.
So everything falls under these three categories about the sabotage, the separation, the secession, and the terrorism also.
So what would be the last straw for the Chinese authority to really use force to stop the protest? What do you think? Because the protest has been dragged on for more than a year, but it just stopped during COVID-19. But the sign is they will carry on their protest.
I think China would not use force soon because this would create a kind of image problem, negative image problem for China. During the past few decades, China was criticized as a rising power with the ambition to dominate the world, and China know that the image of China, especially among Westerners, are quite negative. China as an arrogant power or something like that. So China tried to avoid using forces against Hong Kong protesters, but China just want to use law for political gain for Chinese domestic society. It means my meaning is that China want to pass this law to show the Chinese people that the leader of the Communist Party is determined to solve the problem, or a kind of assertive or strong leadership to solve this problem. But to really use force against the Hong Kong protester would create negative ramification. I don't think it is a wise choice for the Chinese leadership.
There was an interesting development in Thailand recently. when some young Thai people, students especially, got into a war of words with the Chinese counterparts, right?
Yes.
Through social media platforms. And of course, these Thais, mostly young people, they support openly independence for Hong Kong and Taiwan. And of course, this doesn't go well with the Chinese who believe that this thing beyond discussion. It's not a foregone conclusion, no need to discuss about it. So I understand that you follow the development closely. So what was it all about?
We have to understand that the so-called multi-alliance is a kind of accidental and ad hoc alliance, without any mastermind or the third party or the third country. It starts from an online clash between the Thai and the Chinese Twitter user when one Thai TV star posting on his Twitter saying that one of his favorite country is Hong Kong, and the Chinese Twitter user say that Hong Kong is not a country, and that TV star already say sorry, and that
he didn't stop there. It did not stop there.
But the issue expand because there are still debate about that TV star girlfriend, if she is as beautiful as Chinese or as beautiful as Taiwanese. So the issue expand into war of words, and the Hong Kong and Taiwan Twitter user join the battles on Thai side. So it become multi-alliance.
Yes, we have multi-alliance cartoon.
Can you explain what multi-alliance is about?
As I already mentioned, this is a kind of accidental alliance.
Who are these people? Who are these people involved in this alliance?
Most of them are young generation of these three countries and territories. Okay, and for Hong Kong Twitter user, they join the battle because it is an opportunity to join hand with the Thai younger generation to show their dissatisfaction toward Chinese government who in recent years try to control Hong Kong people's political and social life. Meanwhile, Taiwan Twitter user join it to show their dissatisfaction toward China, who always claim that Taiwan is part of the People's Republic of China. And the most interesting is that even the Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen also joined the multi-alliance by saying that, okay, thank you very much for the Thai people's support of Taiwan. So she used this alliance for her political gains, to show her success to show the success of her New Southbound policy.
So how do you think Chinese authorities think of this multi-alliance? Do they do they strong enough? Are they strong enough to provoke anger or worry from Chinese government?
I don't think Chinese has any concern regarding the impact of this alliance. I think everyone know that the policymaker of any country, when they want to conduct foreign relations, they have to calculate from real politics, real political gain rather than ideology. So this alliance would not change Thailand official stance toward China. We will continue recognizing Beijing government as the sole legitimate government of China.
No, but the incident was enough to prompt a reaction from the Chinese embassy in Bangkok, right? They did issue a statement, of course, to criticize the way that these young Thai people view the mainland China's relation with Hong Kong and Taiwan, and insist that the One China policy is something that is an established principle that even the Thai government supports, right?
I think, frankly speaking, I think the PRC embassy in Bangkok miscalculate the mentality of the young people, the young generation of Thai people. What I can notice is that when there is a kind of occasion celebrating the Thai-Chinese friendship or diplomatic relations, most of the participants is the middle age, 50 plus, 40 plus, only a few younger generations. So this phenomenon, multi-alliance, show that China is still unsuccessful in winning heart and minds or projecting soft power, winning hearts and minds of the younger Thai generation.
Do you think they have learned, and will they adjust their stance and use more soft power efficiently in the future?
Yeah, I think it is possible. Yeah, China is still trying to struggle to still struggling with to find a kind of suitable place in the world. So they have to test and learn on many things, including the use of soft power.
No, but we understand that the movement by these young Thais also is in the context of Thai domestic politics as well, because the same group of people have been expressing strong objection to the powers that be in Thailand. And they were not happy with the fact that China was the first country to really come and congratulate the coup makers when they seized power 6 years back, right?
This alliance occur in the time of the low popularity of the current government of Thailand. So in the mind of many young Thai generation, they see China as a supporter of the current government. So that's why I say that China still has a problem in projecting positive image toward the general people of the world, especially among the youth.
So what do you think the Chinese authority will do from now on in order to win hearts and minds of young people, not only in China, but in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand? Do they need to work more?
Of course, they need to work more, and we hope that they would work more. But the limits of China's in its adaptation to the outside world is that now China has a kind of the Chinese leader have already set the goal that by the year 2049, the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the People's Republic of China, that the national rejuvenation must be complete. So from now on until the year 2049, less than 30 years, I predict that Chinese stance toward the outside world would be more assertive in many issues, especially the South China Sea, the Taiwan issue. And so the image of China would be a kind of assertive or arrogant in the minds of people of around the world.
No, but even within the Thai societies, there seem to be divided views toward China and Hong Kong, right? You have people supporting the democracy movement in Hong Kong, especially young politicians in Thailand. They are openly supporting these Joshua Wong and the colleagues demanding democracy, human rights in China. But of course, on the other side, you have people who strongly believe in the one China policy. So how do you think that these two differing views in Thailand can reconcile?
This reflects the social and economic gap of Thailand. I think those who support the PRC's position regarding Hong Kong are mostly business people, big company elites, whereas the younger generations, students seems to show their sympathies toward the Hong Kong people. So these two different views regarding the issue of Hong Kong reflects that in Thailand we also have the kind of problem. It reflects the gap or the crisis, not a crisis, but social and economic gap of this country.
At least it shows that we are democratic enough to have different views on this very important issue, right?
At least Thailand is democratic in a sense that we still have space for debate, not only obey the current government, but we also have more space to hear diverse views.
You suggest that China has clear aim of 2049 to achieve their grand plan. And right now with current geopolitics that US is under this circumstance of having US protests, do you think it's shifting geopolitics between the US and China? And what would be impact on ASEAN, on Thailand?
I think the current crisis in the US is a short-term crisis that would not change geopolitical landscape of the Asia-Pacific region. In fact, the turning point of Asia-Pacific geopolitical landscape is not with the rise of Donald Trump, but with the rise of Obama. The year 2010, Obama said, pivot to Asia. Rebalancing military force from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And in the mind of the Chinese policymaker, that is a significant move of the U.S. administration. It means that the U.S. would come back to Asia after the Vietnam War. That this is a significant move. So that's why a few years later, when Xi Jinping became the leader of China, he initiated the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. That is a kind of reaction to what Obama's pivot to Asia. So this is a kind of long-term conflict, not only the conflict between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, but the conflict between the two countries is kind of structural conflict. One is the United States, the current power, the world power since the Second World War, and now the new one, the challenger, China.
Yeah, but we cannot deny influence of China on Thailand and other countries in ASEAN, especially on tourism and foreign policy. So what can Thailand learn from this dynamic?
Yes, Thailand is in a dilemma. The U.S. is Thailand's old alliance since the post-war year. But China in recent decades has been very important for Thai economies. So the best, not the best way, I think the only way the Thai government could do is to try to balance the relations between the two superpowers and to use ASEAN as a platform for conflict resolution. For example, East Asian Summit or ARF, that is the best that Thailand could do.
Yeah, that means we must not be seen as taking sides.